Welcome to my channel, Faith and Money channel, where I talk all things God, faith and money. Welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about money, what money is, and I'm going to dispel some of the myths that believers have concerning money. So stay tuned in and watch right till the end so that you can learn. And I believe that by the end of this, you're going to feel more acquainted with understanding what money is and more confident with knowing what to do with money, right? So let's get sure you all agree with me that money is the most common medium of exchange that we use, because in the ancient world, it was measured, monetary value could be measured by the livestock that you own, by the amount of grain that you have, and you could use that in exchange for goods, services, or whatever agreement that you came into, you know, like barter trading, if you've heard what that is. I studied that in school many years ago, right? But at present, we use paper money in the form of currency. That is what we use, or coins, depending on what part of the world. And also, you know, nowadays there's been the emergence of digital currency, you know, your bitcoins, your cryptos. And in other countries, you can do an exchange for products and services without any exchange of money. Like, for example, where I'm from, they have what they call eco cash, but it's not actual money. But yet there's an exchange that takes place. So I just want to go into why do I talk about money on this channel? Because I recognize that a lot of believers really lack financial education. And because of that, a lot of believers end up struggling for money, end up broke, living paycheck to paycheck, or continually always praying for money, instead of just seeking to understand what money is, a medium of exchange for goods and services, and also something that we attach value to, right? That's what it simply is. Think about it. If you are looking at currency in terms of like paper currency, and you just put a paper aside and you didn't know what it was, so you didn't understand that you're holding, let's imagine, $100 bill, and you didn't understand that's what you were holding, you can't attach any value to that. It's not going to mean anything to you. And that's my point. The association and the attachment and the value of people who understand what they're holding is what makes money what it is, right? Because simply put there, it wouldn't mean anything. And I hope that makes sense. So I'm just going to read a little note that I wrote, because I think it's important for you to understand. So money only has meaning by our association to it. A person who does not know or understand money cannot associate money with any value or significance. So it is very important for us to remember, because to know even that on its own, it is simply a piece of paper or coins, until we give it value and significance by association of use. So it is something that I feel that there is this taboo surrounding money, talking about money. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of fear, there's a lot of trepidation when believers talk about money. But yet it is something that is so important in our lives. As I said earlier, that even God requires that we give him part of our money. Yes, it wouldn't be important if money was just trivial and something that we shouldn't even consider. I think there's a scripture in Paul which talks about you should work with your own two hands, providing for yourself. And also, if a man has a household and doesn't look after them, he's worse than an infidel. people ignore such scriptures and focus on all the negative scriptures that talk about money or that are attached to money, and forget the uses that money actually brings to our life that are also very, very equally important, that we shouldn't ignore. So now this gets me to talk about, as part of my research, as I've been researching about money, preparing to start this channel, I was watching a Jewish channel and they talk about money and finances, and it was interesting to note that they grew up being taught about money from a young age. So they don't have this negative outlook on money. They just understand that money is a tool that Yahweh, Jehovah, God gave them to manage, to steward, to increase, to multiply, to use as a resource. So there's such a healthy attachment to money, which a lot of Christian believers do not. Hence, I believe that that's why a lot of us struggle in the area of money. So, but one point I want to make from that is normalizing talking about money in a very healthy way, in a building way, in a way that educates us all, is one of the visions and the dreams and the desires that I have for this channel, to normalize talking about money without seeing it negatively. And that is what I saw from the Jewish believers when they were talking about how money was so normalized in their houses from a very young age. Hence, they are leaders in whatever industry that they're in, because they're just brought up and led to believe that you should be a good steward of money, you should take dominion, you should have dominion, and you should multiply what you have, and you should use money generously, and you should give to God what belongs to him. So they just see it as something that just revolves to replenish us all. And that's something that I was like, whoa, I really admire this. And at the time when I'd been reading all these channels, I happened to follow a woman who talks about money, in a different way. And she was talking about the office that she used to work in, and a lot of the people that worked in there were young Jewish men who talked about money with such freedom, with such peace, with no guilt or shame attached to it. But how they used to tell each other the best ways to grow your money, the best ways to invest your money, the best way to manage your money. And because they just believe that they should be at the top with money and understand how it works and how it functions. And also they very much understand the principle that the borrower is a slave to the lender. So they don't want to be in a state of becoming borrowers. They want to be the lenders, right? And then another cousin of mine then happened to sit in a bus in London in a very large Jewish community in the morning, and was amazed at young Jewish boys sitting on a bus reading the Financial Times and discussing with each other what the Financial Times is talking about. So I know I've gone on and on about the Jewish boys and the Jewish people, because I just want to bring the point home that as Christian believers, let's normalize talking about money. It is not good or bad. It is just currency, a piece of paper. Money is not against you or for you, because it doesn't have feelings, right? It's us who attach feelings to money, emotions to money. But in itself, as I'll attach a video, because I did a lot of research, and I discovered that the currency that we have is called Fiat money. That's basically what it is, which means that they attach a value to your dollar, to your $10, to your £50, to your whatever currency that you use in your country, based on what the government says it is what it is, right? So it can't then have a feeling, it can't have an emotion. And the financial education is there because then there are means and methods for you to grow that fiat money, that currency, to become more useful for you, to work for you. So to give you more choices, to give you more freedoms, which I don't believe is a bad thing. Because if you steward your money well and you look after your money well, you're going to reap the rewards of that. And it doesn't just benefit you, especially if you're coming from a godly perspective where you understand all the principle about money, growing your money. So having dominion over it, multiplying it, replenishing the earth. So using your money to do something that replenishes the earth, looking after the needy and the poor, being generous, and also giving back to God what belongs to him, and also giving to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, because the governments will need money to be able to continue to provide good services, for citizens. So I think that's the point of my video, to talk about what money is. I've got my little cheat sheet here that I want to go into. Yeah, it's not a dirty word. To say money is not a dirty word, and I think believers need to get out of that whole thing about seeing money as a dirty word, right? And as I said, money doesn't have motives against anyone. It's on its own, it will be meaningless. We attach meaning to it. So there is no point thinking that money has a motive and he doesn't want me to grow money, right? We need to dispel that. And we have to develop a good, healthy relationship with money, and see money for the things that it can actually do for us and for others. And once we know what those things are, we just need to have a strategy to seek the wisdom to require to make more money work for us as a tool, a resource, and a medium of exchange. Simply, and not to be fearful about money, right? And to just know that God has put us in charge. He wants us to steward it. He wants us to manage it as a resource, like the parable of the talents. We don't just sit and be fearful of it. We just sit there and we find ways of stewarding it, basically. So in this video, that's really what I wanted to talk about. I would encourage you to subscribe if you've just stumbled onto my channel, and to continue to watch, because at the end of the 7 days, I'm going to go into that interesting topic about if money is evil or not. Stay tuned in, and for now, take care. God bless. Bye. Thank you for watching today's video, and be sure to hit the subscribe button to Faith and Money channel and watch last video so you remain connected and in faith.